What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the After Credits Scene. We are talking forecast and predictions for episode 7 of Daredevil Born Again. As always, like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so when we drop new content, you'll be the first one to know about it. Then share this video all across the multiverse. Whole lot of things I'm going to double down on this week. We got episodes 5 and 6 back to back. Episode 5 felt like a little bit of a standalone episode, but props to the guys at Disney for combining those two episodes so that we got a fuller story out of the two of them. We kind of get to see Matt doing some things that make him see that his role as Daredevil is not just about vengeance and revenge or ultra violence, but he got to do some good for some people. Couple that with tracking down Muse on behalf of Hector Ayala's niece and saving her, and doing that in a way that was not vengeance or anger motivated. And I think we're going to see Matt come to terms a little bit more with what's going on. Having said that, the creation of the anti-vigilante task force, Fisk getting more and more frustrated with the rich and wealthy, getting frustrated with his side of the system, and him not being able to do the things that he normally does as the Kingpin, I think is going to continue to come to a head, and he already put some things in motion similar to Matt with his anti-vigilante task force. Not to mention we get to see him fighting it out for his ego and his own masculinity with Adam in his little basement dungeon type thing. So all that to be said, I think a lot of elements are going to start coming together in episodes 7 and 8. And I think episode 9 is going to be a little more of a wrap up a few things, but really push us towards season 2. So I think 7 and 8 are going to be our really big, explosive episodes. And so I'm going to double down on what I think is going to happen this episode and lead into some bigger things in episode 8 and 9, even though episode 9 I think is going to be a lot of cliffhanger-y stuff. So I think we haven't seen Punisher again, and in some of the mid-season trailers we got some more Punisher. I think he comes back this episode. I think there's a lot of things going on. I think he's got his own agenda. He's tracking people down. He's doing some things that Matt may have to wrestle with, but that the anti-vigilante task force is really going to go after him for. I think after his encounter with with Daredevil, Muse is going to ramp up his attacks. I think the vigilante task force trying to close in on it is going to see that Daredevil has resurfaced. I think Muse may even take out some of his vengeance on Daredevil in the form of some street art. We'll see. And I think that might push the task force to do some things as well. It wouldn't surprise me if Muse takes a stance on vigilantes, and that's what starts pushing some more, pulling some more threads between Fisk and Daredevil. I think the task force, they were given a bold charge by Fisk in the last episode, and I think they start getting brutal, and I think it has to do with these two guys right here. I'm hoping that after the mid-season trailer here, that we get our Bullseye appearance. It looks like he's going to try to break out of jail. I'm calling it now. He's going to do it with his tooth, break off a tooth, use that as a projectile. But I think that might happen in episode 8 or 9 as some kind of cliffhanger leading into season 2. But it would be really awesome if he goes ahead, if they go ahead and throw some of that out here in episode 7 to really up the ante, to introduce, like, he's not done. He's a big part of this, and to see what happens. I think the Vanessa and Wilson, marriage therapy, basement dungeon torture type thing, I think all that's coming to a head. I think the two of them are going to come to terms with this. I think Vanessa's really trying to let Fisk do his thing and do these politics things, but I think she also knows eventually he's going to come around and she's going to be right there to pick up the pieces. Still wouldn't surprise me if he tries to come her direction in a very forgiving tone and it drives her away a little bit, but I think something's going to start coming to a head here. We're going to have a good sense of where they're headed and what's going to happen into episode 2, into episode 8 and 9, into season 2. I'm throwing down a little bit more again on this world building. They're still pulling at this BB Urick thread where they show a lot of her podcast videos to kind of show the city a little better, and they're showing a lot of different angles of the city with the police force, with city council, with the mayor's office, with the police, and the sanitation workers. They're really still building out New York City and what it looks like, and so it wouldn't surprise me if they do a little bit more of this with some other characters here. again, we've gotten a few little things, some drops about Skrulls. We got Kamala Khan's dad at the bank in episode 5, and so they're letting you know that this show is firmly seated in the MCU, but they're not really throwing any massive Easter eggs. I think the biggest one you could probably throw out of episode 5 or 6 is they introduced another Daredevil character from the comics named Cole North, and so not that they're throwing Easter eggs, but they're introducing characters, and so I'd put that more in the world building than I would put it into these high stakes, Easter egg type, dig into it type things. I think they're telling a really good story, and they're creating their own piece of foundation in the MCU rather than building on something else. I think this is actually kind of undergirding everything else you've seen rather than the other way around. Curious what you guys think. I know we blew through a lot of this, but I think everything's coming to a head, and we're really going to get some explosive final episodes. Add your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the buttons, do the things, share the video, and then check out some of our other videos. We got lots of things you can sink your teeth into. And as always, guys, when the next one drops, we'll catch you right back here. Later.